Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. Today I'm hanging out with Wayne from Dungeoncrate. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. Good to be on the show once again.
Yeah, it's
Snowed
nice.
in Nebraska.
It's nice to have you back on. I know, like we were just talking about that a little bit. I'm jealous. I miss the snow and changing of seasons. It's like now in New Jersey you got the summer that's really hot. You got the winter that gets really cold, and then we've
Right.
got like a day and a half of spring and fall each. But we don't actually really get we don't get snow like we used to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're getting it now. Apparently, it's looking outside, and it is going to be about 10 inches of snow today in Nebraska and Omaha. So we are going to just hang out today, have some coffee, and do our work until lunch.
yeah,
How about
yeah.
that?
You said 10 inches?
I think so. They said
Yeah.
8 to 10 inches by tonight. I think overnight. So tomorrow morning is going to be all covered, which is great.
You have shovelers, I mean kids, right?
I don't. I do not. No.
Oh
I
no.
I have the sun. I just let the sun melt it off. No, I'm terrible at that. No, in fact, I don't even have a snowblower. We just have shovels in a long driveway, which is
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I mean, same. We've got like a big horseshoe driveway. Although I
Oof.
have kids, right? So like
See, you got workers.
that's
My
like better than a snowblower.
Yeah, I had daughters, so that didn't go far. I think I got them to mow the lawn once each, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, just happy with that. I
I
call it exercise. Get out there and exercise.
well, I get my daughter out there a little bit. She's not very effective, but I think that's more of a tactic than her inability
Right?
to shovel snow.
Oh, right. And then they go off and they're doing all sorts of stuff on low
Yeah.
heavy stuff. I remember my daughter was like would cry about doing the lawn, but yeah, she got a job moving like bags of fertilizer and working at a greenhouse and all
Yeah,
that
you're
fun
just
stuff.
looking like what? You pulled
Hmm.
one over on me.
Yeah, I wasn't so smart. My dad didn't take any of that.
Yeah,
I
it's
was,
all about motivation, right? What they're motivated to do. So,
right?
before we go any further, let's talk about Dungeon Crate, like in case people
Ooh,
aren't familiar with what Dungeon Crate is.
yeah. Well, Dungeon Crate. Oh, yes. We're actually this is our fifth year. We're going on our sixth year, I think.
Oh, nice.
And we were the first RPG accessory box subscription box service. And we came right after Myth Horde, who did a lot of print materials and stuff, and got started. And yeah, so what we do is a monthly subscription box that has basically everybody gets the same thing, but we do dice, miniatures, we write our own adventures and encounters. We've got all sorts of different products that we've come up with, and that go in there. We work with a lot of vendors all over the country to bring some to bring everybody a monthly subscription box that is full of adventure. So there's usually dice, miniatures,
Coins.
tokens, coins. I put coffee, socks. I've put in all sorts of crazy stuff, and you never know what you're gonna get. Pretty much everybody gets the same thing, but it's stuff that we pick. So it's we've, and over the years we've built not only a business but a community, and we're pretty proud of that with people like yourself and your crew, but also with our Dungeoneers Guild, or excuse me, our Adventurers Guild. A lot of our fans, our subscribers actually have a say in what goes in the crate, and also what they've suggested things to put in the crate, plus, or they've contributed. Maybe they wrote an encounter or did some artwork that we've made into a print that we put in there. So we try and offer things that are usable on any platform, whether it's Pathfinder, or Dungeons and Dragons, fifth edition, whatever. Just the ancillary stuff that you can use and put into your own thing, into your own campaign world. Even though we do have our own sandbox campaign world called Halcyon that we've written in some of our subscribers play points of interest into other adventures that we have. So yeah, we're super excited. We just got done with the 2020, still here, still going, doing nothing but growing, which has been very exciting. We're looking at new ways of handling all of the growth, which is I couldn't be happier with it.
Yeah, we actually almost did a subscription box ourselves. We so
Yeah.
in the early days of Nerdarchy, we were like trying to, what is this? Like we didn't know what we were doing, what we were going to do with it. And like I think we were like talking about it, and then we never did anything with it. And then like you and a couple other subscription boxes died. I'm like, oh, too late. We missed the boat on that
Yeah.
one.
I was super surprised that there was not
Yeah.
another one like I wanted coming back from Gen Con. I was so excited about it, and I just wanted to get this in a sub box. I just wanted to get all the vendor floor in a sub box every month, and nobody really had it out there. And as soon as we launched, there were bum 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 people were watching what I was doing, and they launched their stuff too. And I'm happy to offer, what I do alongside a lot of other companies, or not a lot of other companies, actually there's only a handful, but now there's a lot of different companies that are offering so many different things. If you're an RPG or a tabletop gamer, and just you like to get mail and you want to get this, there's so many options for you to choose from. So we strive to really separate ourselves out and make sure that we've got one type of crazy mystery box alongside others, so that we kind of eliminate competition. And also, nerds are different, man. We all have different gaming styles. I'm a very old school player, yeah, to each his own on whatever they want to play. But we're trying to make sure that everybody's got some, options when it comes down to what they want to play with, how they want to use it. Because you can always have too much stuff. You can never have too much dice, but you can have. All right, I take that back. You can never have too much stuff, but you can never use it all at once at the table. So I'm
That,
preparing you to be able to use, for any situation.
and it also depends on what side of this, where on the hoarder spectrum you fall as well.
Yeah.
Like Ted is really, really on the far end. He's got like a plastic obsession. I like breaking his stones about it.
Oh
Um,
man, dice
but
and coins are another thing. I have a coin obsession. Not even a
yeah,
dice. I don't even have a dice obsession. I only like to use one set of dice per character, and then I don't play that much. Coins. If I can Scrooge McDuck myself, and people that watched our lives have seen it.
yeah,
That's my favorite overstock to have. It's probably why I'm still doing the business.
I wonder if anyone's done the math on how many coins it takes to do the Scrooge McDuck thing.
I don't know, but I like my big chest, and I just fill it, and I don't. That's the thing. You won't find a whole bunch of coins for sale on our treasury, because I usually take all our overstock,
Yeah,
and this is a way to help the small vendors too. So I don't necessarily, if we have Kaplow dice or Reaper miniatures, we order some from Reaper just so that we can kind of do the picking for you. But we usually just put the overstock in our treasury. Say, man, we got 10, 20 of these left. Get them while you can, because our subscribers get 10% off by going through this, so they can they can get that. But oh man, it's coins you won't see, because I will just go, oh, I'll put these in the treasury, my own.
yeah, yeah. You have an in-ground swimming pool in the back. There's
No,
no water in it. You just keep
you know
putting
what?
coins in it.
Coins. But you know what happens? This has happened twice now. I work with like 3 or 4 different coin companies that provide coins, and I had a huge stock of coins, and then something happens to where we're missing an item, or we had one time where the coins for that month didn't come in, so I just raided my treasury, and I gave everybody all my own coins, and we bagged up all my entire collection and gave it all to the customers. And recently we've been doing that too. If you found coins in your crate here in the past couple of months, it's because I just went back in, took a handful, and started throwing them in.
But part of my head canon for Dungeoncrate is you just have this garage just packed with stuff from that you've never gotten rid of, and you're like, what am I going to do with it? I know, I'll put it in boxes.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
No, and we do bonus items and bonus stuff. So even if you've been a long time subscriber, the bonus items you might have gotten once or twice. But I'm always like, I've gotten other subscription boxes, and I do like some of the ancillary items that I would reuse: pens, pencils, stickers, multiple dice. But you might get one or two an encounter that you may have already received a few months ago or a year ago. But then the new people that come in, and some of the new people that didn't get to experience that, when I see a box of overstock of an adventure, I get real sad about it, because there's not right now an easy way to disperse that to the people that would like it or could use it, say groups that could use a donation or anything like that. So we try and recycle those back into our crate, just give everybody sometimes it'll be a mix, so that you'll eventually get all of the stuff as it goes around. I hope people don't mind that so much, because we also, it's basically, we do the crate and then add in the bonuses. We don't include the bonuses as part of your value of the crate.
it's the extra thing, which is really cool. There's a long time where there was nothing you could have really come to you in the mail in this way, right? Like if you're kind of old like us, and maybe you used to subscribe to Dungeon and Dragon magazine, you'd have them show up every month, which was super cool. It's like
Right.
I would get it, bury myself in the magazine, for a couple of days and be like, all right, and then you're just waiting for the next one. And
Right.
there's this quality that we don't get in this kind of like on demand society we live in where you always get exactly what you're looking for and what you want. Whereas like it was nice to get that Dragon magazine and you would get things that you didn't know you wanted.
Yeah. And 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 even the bonus thing. So part of the thing when I used to subscribe to Dragon magazine, but I remember being a comic book collector too and all that stuff. And one thing I did with the crate was I wanted to have and this is another thing that we can use the overstock for, was the crate coins, where like the UPC symbols that you cut off, or the box tops, and
Mm,
use, or you get the comic book and in the back has the X-ray specs and all that. And I always love the idea of circling those X-ray specs and sending off for my glasses or my decoder ring, and it was something I was, people are already getting the crate anyway, and I wanted to
yeah.
find a way to recycle part of that. And so people have been doing that. They've been collecting them. I mean, I get crate coin things in multiple times a week now, and it is super fun. And so we start getting stuff for the crate coin section, and see if people cut them out. They just cut off the tabs. I don't know. It's kind of nerdy, but I like it a lot.
So how does that work? So is it like they get something random back? They get something back that's like they select on on the website.
Well, at first it was some of our overstock, and then we would forget to take it down once we ran out. So
Yeah.
what we do now is it's mainly like little small grab bags. You get for the smaller amounts of coins. If you just want to have a couple of, maybe you only get a 3-month, you'll have enough for a good amount of stuff. So we have blind minis up there. So a box. It's a lot of random boxes, but we
Yeah.
pack them full for that appropriate amount of coins. And then we have premium items that are like 24 coins or 20 coins. And that'll be like a $30 mini, or it'll be something bigger that we just purchase because I get them at a discount. So it's not really like, I don't really want to make money off of the crate coin deal.
Mhm.
It costs me money, but what it does is it kind of builds this fun relationship between people that are getting your box, not just for that. And that's what we've always tried to do too, is just get the subscriber to have a little more interaction than I would with Loot Crate. I wouldn't be talking to the owner of Loot Crate. I wouldn't be developing any relationships or being part of a community or anything like that. And that's kind of where we've come from the very beginning, rather than just throwing money at a business, taking
It's
your
a
money and
it,
going back and
it's
not even thinking about you again.
it's
We
a
don't do
fun
that.
reward for customer loyalty too, as well as like, oh, you've been depending on how many coins they have saved up,
Right.
so it gives them something to look forward to, and it's a way to reward them, and really helps like secure the brand, which is it's cool,
Right.
and it's also bringing back something like you said, like those fun things that we used to do as kids that really don't exist anymore.
Right. Oh, and shout out to Doug DeMarco. It is not a forest of pencils. They are all wands of writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put in socks and all that stuff too. I'm reading some of the comments here, which is pretty funny. And yes, that is a Star Trek flag behind me. I guess that way. Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah.
direction. Yeah.
You also dwarvitized us, which was pretty cool.
Yes. See, and that was the other thing that all right. So part of what I was like, oh, this is, I look at what people are doing, and whether it's competitors or people are similar. And one thing I wanted to try and do was do like what they did in Hemper Box, where they get Snoop Dogg to come in and do a box,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's for the canvas lovers, and it was canvas great. But for us, I wanted to, like Nerdarchy, why we did inspiration tokens. We made you into dwarves, put you in the
In the
actual
adventure.
adventure,
Yeah.
which is super deadly. Floyd wrote that one, Whispers in the Dark. We made a poster. We did, um, man, the tokens, the inspiration tokens that had your caricatures on it that were turned into characters. That was really fun. We did another thing with Sig Neutron from Sci-Fi's Face Off. Did a whole adventure box with him. We did Dragons and Things. We worked with them annually, doing a kind of a themed crate with them. So that's the other part too. I always felt that it was really fun to take, and it's always got to be kind of a win-win. We're trying to help
Yeah.
out your things and entertain and entertain our customers at the same time. Kind
I
of
think we
get them turned on
finally
to new stuff.
I think we finally gave away all the extra dwarves, because I mean that was like a
Really?
super fun thing for us. Was like we would take them to conventions with us. The extras, we would take them. We had
Yes.
Nerdarchy die,
Yes.
and we'd hand those out and stickers and stuff. So
Yeah, well, we'll have to do that again. I know that we've done it multiple times with dragons and things. I think we're gonna do a band of badgers. I was appearing on their show. They're out of the UK, and those guys are great. They work with a lot of American companies as well. Um, but I think Nerdarchy's up for another
yeah,
box of sorts.
that was a lot of fun. It was fun to promote. It was fun to see ourselves as dwarves, and beard inspiration
Mhm.
tokens were a lot of fun
Inspiration.
as well.
Yeah, and it's a, and the thing is with a sub box, it's usually a chaotic world for the it's a very chaotic world. What people don't understand about it is that we do a whole lot of work to get out what you get. And, it's balancing out the budget. It's trying to make a profit in a crisis pandemic
Yeah,
situation. It's trying to appease everybody. We'll get emails that say, I hate this item. And another email that says, I love this item, make more. And we're like, what do you say to that? And there's a lot of challenges that come up and people, you know, and a lot of times people don't read. They don't read the things that we put out there and put a lot of work into. We make all of our own adventures, like I said, and encounters. A lot of times, there's a lot of stuff that you get in there. We are spending that time at night, me and Lori, shady lady herself, watching TV, bagging up the dice, bagging up the tokens, cutting all the tokens, and it gets to the point where it's hard to grow if the owners and all of us are still so ingrained in everything to make sure that the final experience is a good one, and then to have a few people, even though it's only a very small fraction, don't have a good experience, that really sinks in hard. It hurts.
yeah.
So that's
You're too involved sometimes.
Yeah, but I want everybody to have a good. It's like you can walk away from this business and say whatever, but what we don't realize sometimes is there's like we involve a lot of people. We involve a lot of our fans. We listen to the subscribers and try and involve them into the community and make it to where we're like we are kind of all in this together. We just have a small business, and our small business, Dungeoncrate, gets to help other small businesses like dice makers or maybe local smaller vendors that just maybe wouldn't have even survived if we couldn't order a big bulk of items from them for that month. And we've helped other companies stay afloat, and that trickles down to the individual Dungeoncrate subscriber. You by not helping just keep us afloat, but you're helping keep everyone afloat. They don't realize how much of a community this really is when you're doing a subscription, that everybody, like even the trading post, the Adventurers Guild was a trading post. Everybody gets the same thing. So I was like, well, nobody else has a place where the company says, well, come together and just trade the items you don't want. You don't
Oh
want the
yeah,
coins, but I want this. You'd have those. And then it turned into a thing where everybody was posting pictures of their painted minis, just talking about their adventures and narrating that. And people are calling each other by name and tagging and then friending each other. And then on the lives that I would do, everybody started talking to each other. And then it was just super fun. And so I started giving out prizes to on all the lives, just to try and show that I can give as much away as I can to help everyone out.
I know.
But
Occasionally, I would
yeah,
catch the lives on Facebook back
yeah,
in the days when I had Facebook. So
yeah, yeah, right. Oh, and that's a thing. Well, I gotta tell you, I gotta be on social media for this, and then it's like you gotta be very careful. I just try and be careful because I have a mouth and an opinion,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
fact that I'm always right does not help matters.
If people could
It's
just understand that, right?
if people could only understand that, but no, they seem to take umbrage with it. But
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I try, but it's a matter of balancing that out with your personal life and business life while still maintaining a compassionate business that cares about its customers. You know, what do you do?
yeah. I kind of really um like empathize I'm right on the same page with you. You talk about like the ability to like insert cash into the RPG community, right? Like
Yeah.
that's one of the cool things that we get to do. Like with we pay people to edit our videos, we pay people to do the thumbnails for us, we pay
Hmm.
people for art for the different projects that we work on. And this past, well, I guess in 2019 we at the end of 2019 we hired our first full-time employee. So like
Yeah.
doing that kind of stuff feels really good.
It does, especially if and what people Another thing that people misunderstand is for small businesses, they treat them sometimes and I do the same thing. And by I say people, I mean everybody, myself included, where I would just consider that they were so big, they need to, I got to shout at them to get heard over my customer
Yeah.
service,
Yeah.
and really it's just like the owner just sitting there going, oh my gosh. And what they don't realize is that, man, it's usually a very small crew. And they're always I was very surprised in customer talk about customer service for a minute. I was always surprised when I would respond because I get the emails, they come to the owner,
Yeah.
not a customer service agency, which a lot of people think. And you read some of these really bad emails, if somebody's really pissed for some reason. And and I always looked at it like, this is a chance. I used to take it really personally. And understand, you send a little off an email like that, goes to the owner, he takes it to bed, thinks about it, it just gets in your head. And you had to kind of separate, but I kind of turned it around, and I started turning fu emails into lifelong customers. And
Yeah.
I told the people, anybody that worked with my customer service, if I would have a partner or somebody that worked with us answering an email, I always said, treat it like it's an opportunity to make somebody happy. And when you take that kind of personal, it's hard, super hard to take something personal when somebody sits there and says, you suck, your products suck, and you suck,
Yeah.
and then you have to take that, and that they think that they're saying it to some outside agency or a group or a large, or that the owner's never going to read this, but they do. And so we do the same thing. And then, so it's interesting. So I've always tried to have that approach. And when you can have that approach with people, I found out that people were just wanted to be heard. Like, I can't believe you responded to my email in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, wow. I'm like,
I
yeah.
get that a lot too, because it's like it's going right to my phone.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I responded, is like having coffee on a Sunday morning because I couldn't let the email stand. I'm like, God, oh, all right, I'll just eat. It's like,
Yeah.
don't answer customer service before 3 cups of coffee. That's kind of a rule.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
most
also,
people are so nice about it, though. I mean, like, totally understanding. And I felt like that's the key. Like, we're all nerds. We all have our stuff. Doesn't matter if you like your stuff or their stuff, but we all have our stuff. And we're all in all of this kind of nerdy area, trying to make money, trying to make a living in totally new ways. And in ways that a lot of it, like me, I have to appease a mass amount of people with the same products. So it's great when they understand, and when everybody is so supportive, it makes you just like, I don't know. It's hard to express the amount of, I never expected this in a business or any business that I would have, that the people that are actually the receivers of the items and whatnot, were so supportive of you as well. And they're going through their own struggles, and I'm watching them, I'm friending them on Facebook, and everybody's got their thing. So it's been a pleasure.
I will say the other end of that too is because of we're in the situation where we are. There's been times where things fall through the cracks because you look at something, while you're doing something else, and you're like, oh, I'll get back to this, and you never get back to it,
Yeah.
or I've been guilty of like firing off a snap response, in the moment, and going, oh, I could have definitely handled that better.
Yeah, and you get that. Even, I mean, it takes a minute to try and separate that out from business and your personal life, because that nothing can wreck your day like a pissed off email before you've had your coffee, that you just so you're not supposed to hit that, and you should not answer emails on your phone, but I hit it and I look at it anyways. I'm like, and so I either, so I have to leave it for
Yeah.
Jexa, or I'll answer myself. And and it's hard not to take it personally. And people get very upset when you're spending their money. And that's what I understand. I'm taking your
Yeah.
money, and you could either look at it like, hey, I'm just in it to make a buck. So I'm going to take all your money, charge you a bunch of money, and I'm going to put a bunch of trinkets in there. I'm going to kick it out the door. Don't even give a shit about it and let you deal with it. I don't care. I got your money. It's a subscription. Oh, guess what? No refunds either. So you can look at it that way, but also that's never been our approach. And
Do-
anybody that knows me or has ever talked to me knows that I'm not necessarily money motivated. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm more creative oriented. I want to make sure that everybody's happy, has a good experience, and all this, and that naturally should allow me to have some semblance of a living. So
did you see, I think there's a company called, I think it's called Mythic Metals, or maybe that was the Kickstarter where they did medals, D&D medals for like the specific adventures that Wizards of the
oh,
Coast had
really?
put out.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
they had like different versions of that. I feel like that would be something to be like up your alley.
Oh, man. Oh, we've got so many ideas right now. Because our next phase for this year is we are we're getting new boxes, our new box company. We're doing changes with our fulfillment, so that's going to go more smoothly. We are ordering ahead from different vendors so that we can have items already lined up for future months, so we're not scrambling, and neither is our fulfillment company. We have got Kickstarters on the way. I mean, we've been around for 6 years, and we have, I think, maybe 3 books. We can put out tomes of our adventures, our trilogies, and our encounters. We can put out a book this thick in hardcover of all of our crate cards that have magic items and monsters that we've created or have had our contributors create.
Maybe
We've got
maybe
a
you
whole
should
world,
do
Halcyon world. We've got a whole box. We have so much stuff coming out.
maybe you should do some Kickstarters.
That's what our plan is. So
Yeah.
our next thing that coming out in the spring will be some Kickstarters with a number of things. We've got our Tavern Keeper's Handbook that we've already started. We published a little bit in a previous encounter, but we've got that in the works. And that's going to be a Kickstarter. But our tome of Monsters and Magic will be coming out, and our tome of Adventures, however we're going to really align that, will be that. So it'll be a whole book of. So unlike getting a Wizards of the Coast tome where you go no matter where if you're 7th level, you still go from 1 to 5th level or whatever, which I really am not a huge fan of, to be honest. I like playing them, but I won't buy one yet. But I like the that we've got so many adventures and encounters that go through all the different levels, and Pathfinder versions of them too, that I think that we can put them, and some of the most amazing artwork too. I can't express enough how much Matt from Dungeon Doodles has been with me for now 4 or 5 years, and have been 4 years, and has been the face of Dungeoncrate as far as our graphics go, and all of the amazing art that you see in every single in our buttons, in our encounters, everything from the insert to the design of the box to the all of the amazing artwork that we have in each of those modules. It's all Matt, and we love it. And so I really want those to be in a book. I mean, everything from our adult versions, where we've got our cult classics. We actually killed a baby in this one. Whew. And no, that's a good thing. I was saying it was a vampire killed a baby, but it was an adult one. And then all the way to 2 demon children attacking you. And
So you just mean children, huh?
But some of the stuff, yeah, right, yeah. AKA toddlers. But yeah, so a lot of great artwork has gone into it, and a lot of work. I mean, that's another thing that we do is all of their own artwork. We have kind of not really in-house because he's out of Portland.
Yeah. So you said new boxes. Is it new design or just new boxes?
I don't think it's going to be a new design. We have pretty much, I think we are on version, I think it's going to be a new box company, but it's a version 3.0. I think we've had 3 boxes. And again, this is, if you look at our box, which boy, that would have been so forward thinking if I would have had that.
It looks
box
like a
that I was
chest.
looking at. Yeah, it looked like, but even our, like people were starting to use them for storing their minis and putting some of their stuff in, and they were putting on the shelves and they're taking pictures. I'm like, wow, this is great. And then they're just having to write, putting tape on there, right? And so I said, okay, well, let's redesign our box and put little white spaces there, so when you put it up on the shelf, you can write what's in the box, and that, that's what that's for. So our box, we try to make our box reusable, as well as our inserts. All the inserts have terrain tiles on the back.
This makes sense.
Next box, this January one, we've got 4. It looks like they're the same terrain tiles, but take a look at them closer. They have cut lines in them. So what we're doing now is we're launching a new set of terrain tiles that are cardstock that you can cut out and make multiple dungeons, if you will, out of them. Just fun stuff. And our quest stickers also stick to them as well. And stick them right down there. But yeah.
Nice. Ted is always using the boxes for different things.
Yes, I do too. We use them for treasury storage. I've used them for all sorts of storage. They're just nice. I don't know. I feel weird throwing them away unless they're all beat up and kicked apart by the postal service.
I probably have 1 or 2 boxes around here somewhere. I'm less of a stuff person though. Like Ted is a stuff person enough for both of us. And and he comes from a long line of hoarders. So
see, I got lucky. I got to have all my hoard is at the dungeon. In the office. Most of it. I hoard other.
I'm more of a like digital hoarder now, and
oh really?
And I just kind of want everything like in D&D Beyond, so I can go to the same place and use it.
Oh wow, yes.
I have
Yeah,
so
I
much
bet.
stuff, awesome stuff from awesome companies that I don't use because I have to go
Yeah.
to another book or something.
Oh yeah, I've started to get it. Well, at least we have one area in the dungeon. Hopefully, as we go through this year, we're gonna be able to, we have a really cool office, and it's got a whole bottom basement area that's a kitchen, and it has a couple of rooms where we can do gaming in, which we don't
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
And we were gonna turn that into an escape room, which we were so close, and then COVID hit, and we had to shut it down. So that will be an escape room one day. But it is we call it the war room because we've kind of gotten into a bunch of different tabletop games too that are all sitting there and we don't use them. Be like Gaslands and what's the nope. It was not Warcraft, but it's the smaller Kings of War. Got that. We play that. And any other tabletop kind of thing down there. But so it's less of, yeah, there's too many games, too much stuff to go with it. I'm just like, I need a separate office for
Maybe,
it. So there you go.
yeah, maybe the end of this year you'll be able to get open it up and get in there. And
I I hope so because that's the thing. We're in a great neighborhood and our gaming community in Omaha is great, but yeah, we have more customers in Australia than we do in Omaha. Um,
yeah,
Strangely enough. And we've had a lot of game shops shut down, and a lot of game shops that were
uh,
really, again, independent, very, very local, very mom and pop. And they've shut down. They used to have all the tables where people would go play Magic the Gathering and D&D. So we've got a great space, and I really want to open it up. And I had my idea for doing a RPG rally. I told you
yeah.
about that, which is totally
Oh
different
yeah,
than
the
the
scooters, the
convention.
scooters.
Yes, yes, it's on only with no scooters. Maybe like the smaller scooters would be all right, but
Well,
an
like at Gen
RPG
Con, they have
rally.
like all the scooters
Yeah,
that you can rent. I don't know. I never did. I had some friends that did, but they also were drinking a lot. So I don't know if
yeah, we did that
it
too.
was a great mix.
Yeah,
they also had the wounds. They had the wounds to go with it.
yes, I will not say that in the scooter club days that we had, we'd go to Kansas City and go to in Oklahoma City. We've been to their rallies. We're talking 200 people and scoots, and I will
Yeah.
not say that we did not have imbibe in some beers and then go scorching around the city back alleys trying to see if
But the
we could
scooters you're talking about are more like,
Vespas and
yeah, yeah, like moped,
like
like jumped
shoot.
up
No,
mopeds.
oh God, don't say mopeds when you're talking scooters, Dave. I'd be like, like DD or Pathfinder, whatever.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah.
D20, D12, doesn't matter. Yes, it does. No, like scooters, like step through. So 250 to 200, 250 cc's. No pedals, just a Vespa. It's a
So
classic.
that's how I antagonize people that are scooter enthusiasts.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh. You
It's
mean
good to
like a
know.
push?
But then
Yeah,
it's like you go into a motorcycle club. Oh, those are really big scooters.
yeah, I know that. It's like bringing your, we did that too. You're bringing your scooter to a motorcycle rally.
Yeah, yeah.
The whole concept of a rally, though, to me was what did it for me because the whole concept was smaller. Again, you had maybe 50 people even made a great rally. It's about the community at that point. It is like when you go to Gen Con, you go to these gaming events. I don't know about you guys, and a lot of people have a lot more friends maybe than I do at the conventions. I'm usually just interested in the floor. But what about I was always like gaming was always fun to me too, but it was just so big. You get in there and you get to know these people for a couple hours, and that's fine. And you can, depending how many games you play. But if you had to do it near, rather than doing a huge convention, if more people, game shops that want to do more rallies where you can sign up, and there's like the whole thing that made it a rally was that we had donations from all sorts of people at the scooter club, and there would be we'd have that laid out. So the whole big thing was that you for $1 a ticket you can put your ticket into each box, and at the end of the rally we have a big raffle. All the money goes into making the rally for the next year. They would also give away a scooter, so part of it would be you'd be putting like $50 worth of tickets into the
Yeah.
scooter box. I hope we can win that whole scooter. I wanted to do the same thing on a local level to help support local businesses and to help encourage the local gaming community to get together and have different games that are played hosted by different game shops. So since I'm not going to game shop, I don't have any competition, so I can invite in all these different game shops to help participate or donate and whatnot. We can give away money to charity and things like that. So it's a little bit different in a smaller scale, but still has that same feel of a convention without being on such a massive scale, but still brings people together in an event that includes playing, that includes maybe some, a concert, having a band play, and going out to a pub and having some specials hosting people to come to our city and game and have an event that isn't just that isn't they're one of 5,000 people that are there. You're
How
one.
many game shops did you have?
Oh boy, we've got right now. We've got probably about 10 in
That's a
town,
lot.
maybe. It is, but Omaha's kind of wide and spread out. We've got West
Yeah.
Omaha, which are it's miles away. It's like I'm on 60th Street. Actually, right now I'm on 40th Street, and I think the other game shop that I farthest out is 132nd Street. So that's that's west. So there's a bunch of game shops, and sometimes they have things. We have local conventions, which are great, and that's where everybody can meet. But I still think even those local conventions are a bit big, especially for very game oriented or activity oriented people. So I think it'd be fun.
You
You
need,
know,
yeah. So like in my area, like there's like I can think of maybe 4 or 5 gaming stores, but they're kind of like spread out over
really.
towns, right? And in Philadelphia, you have a bit more. Um, you need population density to really make that work.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm lucky that I don't have any public walk-in traffic. So here's my angle is that I have an office building that just happens to be an old store, a commercial space, and it's 2 levels, and there's 4 of us that work there, and the only time it gets filled up is when we have fulfillment, when we put up the tables and we get out
Yeah.
all the products. Um, but yeah, then this kind of thing happens where we have a pandemic and we're not allowed to. So hopefully, like I've said before in some of my lives, we can get more into. I'm trying to get some dungeon masters to help me with running Dungeon Club,
Yeah.
which would just be like this, just a Zoom thing where we have people sign up and we can just run some of our halcyon adventures and try them out, see how they work, and find out. Maybe that would be a good thing to have before we put out a big book of them all to make sure that they're all like playable and no big glitches. But I am like I don't have the time to do a ton of that. I've got all the other stuff going on when it comes to the company stuff, and I want to make sure that if we do anything, it's going to be quality. So it's finding people to help out with the D&D 5e podcast, finding people to interview for the Dungeoncrate podcast, doing our YouTube channel, and having some things to put up there, and then Dungeon Club and. Which is just literally what we used to do at our office was we just have a Saturday 1 to 3. You walk in, doesn't no campaign, don't even need to bring anything. We have all your stuff, and you walk out with a bunch of stuff. You come in, you throw $5 down. That goes to the whoever's running the dungeon club. That's a DM donation, and then you get to play without having to worry about a campaign and anything else. You just come in, you pick one of our pre-generated characters. So I don't know. We're trying to do that, and we're trying to do more things. Like I think we were talking about the Twitch where it was called Keep Wayne Alive somehow. So I would go against Floyd, who wrote your dungeon,
Uh
and then the players would try and help keep me alive. His basically be a one-on-one dungeon, a solitary encounter,
huh.
and he's got to make it as deadly as possible. I have to use all my wits to try and stay safe, or the players can do some sort of random things to allow me to survive somehow. So we'll find out. But I'm always looking for people to help write adventures and encounters. Find new, if you're, have things you want to put in the crate, things you want to have sold in our treasury. Want to come on as a guest on the podcast, whatever we can do to kind of help, showcase you guys and showcase us. I'm game. I got a company and a platform to do it on, and I'm always looking for help and just kind of bringing new stuff to people's awareness.
How often are you guys doing the podcast?
Maybe once a year.
Oh.
Like I said, so,
Super regular.
yeah, funny there, it doesn't go up in the listenership so much. No, I've done the podcast actually. Last year I didn't do it too much. But I did a few, and what I want to do with like, why would you listen to a company's podcast? So
Right.
what I'm doing with that is for the Dungeoncrate podcast, I want to interview some of our vendors. I had a great interview with Shire. In fact, I have an interview with Shire Postman tomorrow. We're going to be we interviewed Metallic Dice Games, a
Yeah.
lot of our vendors and a lot of the people in the RPG industry, whether they're celebrities. I had a podcast for 15 years. I've had so many podcasts, and I've interviewed
All the podcasts.
tons, all the podcasts. I've interviewed all the celebrities, all the rock stars, all that shit. So I want to interview people that are rock stars in our industry, or not even and by rock stars I mean like even the people that are having new Kickstarters come out, or people that are vendors that started a business and now they're just really starting to grow and they just need a little help, or
Yeah,
maybe
I mean that's kind of this
artists.
format, which is
Yeah,
what we, which is great. It's just getting more voices out there. When and like you mentioned, like you don't want to just have a company podcast, which makes sense anyway. Like when I've talked to different people and they want to try and kind of do what we do, but for their company, and I'm like, it's
Right.
a great idea, but you just have to have the right approach. Like I remember talking to people at Think Geek, like they had a studio, they had a good setup,
Man, yeah.
they had good personalities, but the programming was terrible. I'm like, you just wheel out your products and talk about the products. Like nobody cares.
Yeah.
If you want people to buy your stuff, entertain them for an hour or 2 hours or however long you're going to do the show for. Make
Yeah.
them like you and have fun with you, and they'll buy your stuff because of that.
Yeah, there is
Um,
a, there's a place for directed, serious advertising and marketing because it does work. I pay for a
yeah,
bunch of ads that go on Facebook, you're going to buy. And, that's just a mass thing. But when it comes down to where you're doing stuff, again, I was like, why should I do a podcast for the company if it's just going to be about nobody's going to care about, I wouldn't care about that.
yeah.
I wouldn't listen to that.
Like,
So I wanted to make it to where like, what would people listen to? Well, what if I have, they don't know anything about how big some of these companies are they see doing Kickstarters or having new products. And people are innovating and coming up with so many awesome things that I can't even put in my crate, but I would love to share and talk about and help. That's kind of where I'm going with that. Like we're Dungeoncrate, but one day Dungeoncrate will, hell, I'd love to sell Dungeoncrate, if, couple of years and start a whole new thing and
yeah,
like just dig into it and whatnot. So I'm, that's it's all part of that creative process. So I'm hoping to find those people that are, excite people with it rather than say today's podcast is going to be on our new D20.
yeah. Well, yeah, because here's the thing: like when you do something like this, for me, it's less about talking about whatever the thing is, the product is. Sometimes, like I'm really interested in it, and we will talk about that stuff more. But it's more about like interacting with the person, letting our audience interact with the person, and get to know them.
Yes.
Because like they might not care about the product per se, but if they're like, oh, that Wayne guy was really cool, I like him, let me go see what other stuff that he's doing, right?
Yeah.
And and they buy into you, and then they want to see, they want to get more involved in with the stuff that you're doing. And then and then it's like, oh, you know what, I like Wayne, I'm gonna get Dungeoncrate, and oh, I like Dungeoncrate, there's good stuff in here. So yeah, so to me, these are just like introductions for people to just meet each other, kind of. And your sound just dropped out. Hmm. I cast silence. That's weird. Did it start doing something weird like pulling from a different mic? So as no, not yet. Is one of your cats eating the cord right now? No. This is the joys of doing it live. So feel free in the chat to ask questions if you have any.
It's a
Why?
question.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Here we go. How about that?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I was turned off on this thing here. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I
you
feel
got
very old that way.
yeah. You started getting a little low, and then it was gone.
Oh, because I was messing with this and there's a volume on this. I didn't know that.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
no,
just
so yeah, I
like
got it.
fidgeting, right? Pushing buttons.
That's right. See, no, I was just saying my whole thing is that I do want, we're a small company, and I'll tell you what, the one thing I do appreciate from other people when you have a business is the feedback. And some people get harsh with the feedback, but they're honest. You got to get it from their end. And
Yeah.
other people are very good with the feedback. But the people who have been with us for the entirety of it know that one of my big things, sometimes we hit and sometimes we miss. And I challenge anybody to get it right all the time. Take my business, you try it for that and try and hit it right. And sometimes we look at it and we've tried different things and they've been bad, or things have happened and it's just screwed our whole month up. And we're like, and there's no worse feeling than when we are disappointing. And so we strive not to, and people are understanding about it. And it is, sometimes we have a crate and sometimes we look at it and I'm like, wow, the numbers work. They're all there. It's not like it's changed. It's not like one month we have we drastically changed the budgets.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people are like, well, I paid $40 and I want $150 worth of stuff and free shipping in that crate, and it doesn't happen. And they don't value the items that we create, like the flat items. If it's flat, it automatically seems free. And so
Oh,
we've had to educate people and share that. And people have been so cool with it and so nice in being able to understand that, sometimes it's, yeah, we put in shot glasses and we put in coffee in for Christmas, and we realize that a lot of people buy those, a lot of grandmas buy those things for their kids. And now they're getting coffee and they're like, why did my son get coffee? He doesn't drink coffee. Well, do you?
who knew?
We're also in it for you. So, it's an experiment every time. I say it's the most adventurous subscription box on the planet. It is, because again, I don't know what I'm going to have at the end of the year in your crate. You might get socks. You might get worms. I have no idea. Doug might get a box full of glitter.
Bring on the worms. Well,
Yes.
as someone who creates content on YouTube, I totally get it, because I've been doing this for 7 years now and I still don't know what people want. Like,
Yeah.
you'll do a topic that you think is cool, and and then it's just like you put up a video and it's like
Yeah.
nobody cares, and you'll do something as a throwaway and put it up there and it's like it goes off like gangbusters. So
Yeah. And it's one of the comments here. Master the Game says, yeah, I think the reason I never made the leap into Dungeoncrate is because they're blind boxes, basically. And that is true. And there's reasons for that too. If you can imagine, if you were to do this business, would you rather have a blind box to where you can have control over if something happens? Because things happen, like
yeah.
seriously, missed shipments where we're waiting to fulfill and we just don't get that item, and we've already printed the insert. What do you do? Or do you let everybody know what you want, or do you let people choose? Sometimes when people have too many options, it's not good. It's not a great business model. So the thing is, what I had to do going into this was to make sure that, to understand that fact that I've got an audience that has tons of different playing styles. It's my job and my team's job to come up with items that overall, on an average, that everybody will use and enjoy, and listen to them and find out, well, what are they short of? Like, solutions for initiative tracking? Are they short of keeping track of their character? Are they short of dice, or looking for just wanting to beef up their collection? You listen to those things, and then you try and incorporate those in there. And as I always say too, a subscription box is an experience. Don't just buy one and make a judgment of that. I would never do that with any. I've had tons of subscription boxes, man, and I make sure that I get like 3 months just to see if it's if it's something that jives with me or not. Also, I don't even know when I'm getting them, and I have to really remind myself to cancel. And I never judge the box. Like, I've had people like pull the items out, go research them, find out how much they got them, how much they're worth, and all this. And good on you, nerd. But I'm like, you're not factoring in a whole lot of things. So I'm always trying to just say, I know it's a blind kind of crate, but that's what the experience is for. Get to know us. Let us listen to you and find out what you would like to see. And the majority of people really like the blind aspect of it, because I think it's otherwise they can just go shopping.
It's a feature, right? Is one of it's a feature, not a bug. And obviously, if you don't like blinds, then this isn't a good product. This type of product isn't a good type of product for you.
Yeah.
And you probably won't. You're probably not going to get these. But there is a lot of people that do like that aspect of it. They like the surprise of going, oh, what am I going? What am I going to get this month? What's in here?
But I honestly think that I can come close to pleasing everyone, and that's always been my goal. I never have a goal of like, I want to please the majority of people. That doesn't. No, I want to please everyone. Whether I do or not is of course, that doesn't matter. It's just that my goal is that. So you are not happy with what you got. We started giving out, and the other thing is, and here's the weird thing about this industry too, is like, we started this year, and during COVID, we found that if you don't sign up by the 4th of each month, and people don't read, so they don't understand how it works, but you have to sign up by, say, January 4th to get the January crate. We have to have a cutoff so that we know exactly how many how many boxes we're going to be packing. And we got to pack those boxes within the next week and a half and ship them out to get there before the renewals on the 25th, because nobody wants to be charged twice and not even get their first box. That's an issue nobody thinks of. So the thing is that we've got to it's a matter of being like, okay, well, I had a point with the cutoffs, but anyways, it's like it's trying to please. And if I can do that, if we can kind of like then we stand a good chance of pleasing the majority of people. But like I said, it's still an experience. You got to get a few months in and check it out and see if it is for you. And if I remember what my point was going to be, because I was reading these comments too and it got me off. But and I'll get back to that.
Logistics are hard.
Logistics are hard, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's one, yeah. It's been rewarding. I don't think I would have changed anything really about our experience.
So,
It seems like I've been in it a lot longer than we have.
well, I mean, 2020 alone was like 5 years of running a business. So Brian wants to know, what's your favorite item you couldn't get into a crate?
T-shirts from Death Saves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite item we could never get. All right, so that wasn't even an item, so that's not fair. But when I was talking with Joe Manganello about getting Death Saves when we first started with that, I was so excited about trying to get something in there and custom make him some stuff to put in. And
Yeah.
my favorite thing though would be, I think, dice tower stuff. We've had mini dice towers. I think I like kits.
Yeah. Are you a modeler?
I am a maker, so I do dollhouse miniatures.
Yeah.
I do. My wife and I have been doing dollhouse miniatures for a couple years, and all sorts of stuff. You can go over to my Facebook page on Worlds of Wanecraft
Yeah. Yeah. Hey.
and see the stuff we make. But I don't do it like models. Models, my bane of my existence are those little metal models that people put together that you can see everywhere. That's just, I have bad eyesight now. My fingers are kind of numb, so. I really don't know what would be the best item that we never got to put in a crate, because I don't know.
Well, it sounds like the death saves definitely qualifies. I mean,
I guess, but only because it was shirts,
yeah.
at the time. They have the other stuff, but I mean, like we tried to put in shirts, but we couldn't because of the logistics on that was a nightmare. And if it gets too hard and you can't do it quality, then we just don't do it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I'm not going to sacrifice the quality of the box or the presentation or anything like that, or the time that we ship it out. We have never shipped out the next month for a box after 5 years. There have been so many companies that have they still haven't shipped out their March box and it's April or May. And, when you get behind and get in the weeds, you just don't ship. But we have never done that. We've always shipped before the 25th. It's or maybe once we shipped after the 25th, we always at least get the postage printed out and are working on the box and ship it. But we haven't had to wait for that month. We have a great crew down here too. So what was I? Oh, pleasing everyone.
That is
trying
awesome.
to remember.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing that never got a sword in my crate.
I know, right?
You could do little ones. You could do little ones.
Well, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some things that were not great ideas to put in a crate. That would be a better question to ask me.
Yeah. Live squid doesn't work.
Doug DeMarco would know. He would be able to. I know exactly what Doug would say was our worst item in the crate, and that would be socks. Although I think he lies. I think he's probably got our socks on right now.
He's wearing them right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think. But as far as things that were bad,
forget about bad. What about something that was just a complete flop?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to
you
think
thought of. You're like, oh, this is so awesome, and then you get the feedback, and you're like, oh, right through my heart, you're killing me.
Yeah, like what? You didn't like that? Are you kidding me?
Ooh, no. John Walker says bow ties. Bow ties are cool.
Ties. Oh, those are cool. Ooh, we can do bow ties. Gosh, I don't remember, because we've tried a lot of different fun stuff. Now, different shot glasses that are also great dice rollers.
Yeah.
I like him, use them as dice cups. We've done socks and coffee, 2 different types of coffee, coins. And we've done a mini dice tower, and that was okay. That was with your crate. That was we did that. That was an assembly one where we didn't put them all together, so you had to assemble those. That was hard because it was somebody had to assemble them. But yeah, I don't know.
The assembly was pretty easy on those, so it wasn't like
it's more the small stuff. Like we just did our cookbook.
Yeah.
And the cookbook we had been talking about, and that was a fan cookbook. So our subscribers contributed to the recipes. This was right when Wizards, copied us and came out with their own hardcover version. Money bags. But
Yeah.
but we put it out, and we realized that during the editing process, we attributed two of the recipes to somebody else. That was a wrong author. And so the next crate, we didn't even say anything. We just put in a card that had the page, the correct page for it.
Yeah.
So because we just couldn't stand with that person getting that and being excited about getting their, this cookbook, and they didn't, their name wasn't on. It was so disappointing. And we're like, oh no. But things happen like that. And when you're dealing with this much stuff and this many logistics, things fall through the cracks. Best part about it, our customers are so awesome. They get it. They understood, and everybody was really cool. So
Master of the game. What about a D20 belt buckle? That would be pretty cool. That just makes me think of
oh
like my dad would always wear these like big oversized belt buckles. Like, I'm like, dude, we're not in Texas.
yeah.
Like something you can fight crime with.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, so master of the game. Let's see here. Say a hat. Hats are tough. Nobody really likes hats. That I found. Patches, stickers, and things like that. Yes, we do those. Those are cool to source, easy to source, and if you've got cool designs and you've got cool designs, please let us know about those. A D20 belt buckle, yeah, that would be awesome. So here's
Yeah.
the thing too. Some of these things, it's all about money. It's all about the budget. I mean, each item we can't put. I mean, in what we can get for it. So if my total box budget is say certain number that. Yeah, each item has to be under a certain number. So I can't go off and pay $15 for this item and $20 for this item or $10 or $5. You have to kind of mix it up. And then it's about sourcing it. Yeah, I would love to get fuzzy D20s for the review mirror. Can you get me those in bulk? We've had to not have vendors, so they just couldn't get us a volume. So
Mm,
we need those in bulk, and we need them at a wholesale price.
yeah.
I don't want a cheap product either. So now you have to get the wholesale price so that I make some money after all the stuff that's put on top of it. And also, I don't want the thing to be cheap product.
Yeah.
And so those are what we need to lean on our community for, to go find some of these items that you're like, oh, if you
I think
want
we
to. And
need
also,
sheets. We need sheets of mimic stickers.
ooh, that can happen actually. And also, yeah, weight is an issue. You got to take that into consideration, because again, you can be at 15 ounces, 15.9 ounces, and you have one postage rate. Now you go up one fraction, you just go up to 16 ounces, and now you've doubled your postage costs. So if you
Mm,
guys have ever had to click on a thing that says you're now spending $8,000 in postage on top of now after buying all of the items and stuff, then you're like, oh wow. Yeah,
yeah,
it, it,
it's a
it gets
different
it.
experience for sure.
Yeah, so
Um,
it's a big balance, but
well,
you know,
like so we had to deal with that too with our Kickstarter because, like, part of it is books, part of it's maps and minis, right? Which are the
yeah.
I think you've worked with Arknight in the past.
Arknight, yeah,
Yeah,
they're a great longtime vendor of ours.
yeah, yeah. So you know, it changes the mailing, right? A book you can multimedia mail, which is a lot cheaper than, I don't even know whatever it's considered, but when we do the maps and minis, like so
Yeah.
people are like, I would like to back at this level, but I live in another country and it would cost more for the shipping than for the product.
Yeah, and I feel bad about that too. I
Yeah.
offer worldwide shipping, but honestly, I feel you when custom charges kick in for some reason, or that is an extra amount. So I'm constantly like, I want to make sure that domestic, it's a kick-ass box, and even
Yeah.
if you're paying overseas, at least you're getting something that is either exclusive that you can't find anywhere else. 'Cause a lot of stuff we make, you're not going to be able to go to drive-through or any place else on the internet and find. Just us, and we try and cater that. Yeah, that gets difficult, and also just shipping. Again, our price, we've rolled in shipping so that people don't have to pay an extra shipping charge, and people don't understand that too. They get the box, they've paid for it. It's just $40 worth of stuff. We'll take $6 right off the top,
For
because
shipping,
that's
yeah.
for shipping that's going on. And then the price of the labels, price of the packaging, price of everything, and now go into it, and what kind of deals can I strike to get for me the items at the cheapest cost, so that I can purchase enough of them and in the bulk and of proper quality. So some of these companies are big enough to do that, some are not. But we've been being able to work with like Metallic Dice Games is awesome. They made us miniature dice trays that were fantastic. We work with different companies like Identity Links and whatnot to get some of our own designs.
Oh,
You know, the shot glasses that went with the pirate adventure that we had. So we try and do that kind of thing just to
are they
give some.
always themed or sometimes themed?
I tried doing themed at first, and man, that's so hard, especially when you know.
Especially 5, 6 years in.
Yeah, come on, man. You gotta understand how hard it is to source all these materials, shake it up so that people don't get bored of the dice mini adventure
Mm,
button format.
yeah, yeah.
It's mind numbing and it's fun, but it's also mind numbing. It is a challenge that people that I'm really like when people can actually get that thing of it, see that
Do
part of
you
it.
do you have nightmares about spreadsheets?
No, I try not to look at too many spreadsheets. Yeah, I have nightmares about logistics. I have nightmares about the boxes not getting there on time. I have nightmares about the boxes spilling open on the floors of the post office. I have nightmares about not getting my stuff in on time and everybody outside the front door screaming at me. And I thought they were
Yeah.
all subscribers, but somehow they're all in Omaha now and they're all out front. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have, things like that. I think
Well, how do
that's
you
me.
keep track of what went in what box and how
Oh,
to keep mixing it up so you're not doing the same formula?
it is kind of a spreadsheet thing. It's more or
Yeah.
less we use Monday. We use an organizational team kind of thing that we can put in all of our. We can mark down everything that we've got in, how much we paid for it, what the retail value is, the description, the photo, and then we try and do that. Right, we've been doing now is trying to curate out for like 3 or 4 months so that we can actually put in some themes. So we can do a
Yeah.
little bit of a theme of for like March and maybe have a shot glass in there, and Valentine's Day having something. But we try not to do too many holiday themes either because everybody's got their own holidays, and there's we try and stay very neutral about that and very neutral about the game. The game, I guess, Pathfinder, Starfinder, D&D. I don't know. So theming it was we could have run through all the classes, all the how do you keep theming? And then sometimes during COVID, we can only get a few hundred of this miniature,
Yeah.
and we'd have to combine it to buy this miniature a few hundred, this miniature a few hundred, and this miniature a few hundred, so we had enough for all of ours. So then it got tough. We even took out the insert over time until we got done with packing the crate and knew exactly what we had in there and could say this is what we have in the crate. So yeah, so
How
many challenges.
how much of a challenge has this past year been with not being able to do conventions? Because I know you used to hit a lot of conventions. Did you guys usually have a booth, or you kind of just nomad it?
You know what? Conventions is what launched Dungeoncrate. My love for seeing the vendor floor and meeting all these people. Some of the first people I met were Rare Elements Foundry, Helen over at Shire Post Mint. Met those guys, Arc Knights. A lot of them we've gotten the crate. Not having the conventions to go, we did I think local conventions. We had a booth in a couple of times, and that was okay. But we're a subscription box service, so it didn't make a whole lot of sense to just pay a lot of money for something we had no chance of really getting any return from
Yeah.
right away. And Gen Con's very expensive, and I like to peruse the floor. So what I like to do when I go to the conventions is to fill up my backpack full of prizes, all my overstock. I put them and I hand them out to people, and I just give them away for free. Just if you're gonna promote something and take something from me out, if you're gonna sit there and take a business card from me that says, "Hey, you should look at Dungeoncrate," I want to make sure that you walk away with something valuable. So I always would give away stuff, and just I was more like wanted to talk to people, find out what they liked in this and what they didn't like in this, and had they heard of us, and I didn't want to just sit there with a booth. Which although those are fun too. We used to have a big giant dice tower that you would roll, and again, come up, give me your email address, roll, and you can roll for a prize. Everybody walks away with something. So when that got to be like really arduous and
Yeah.
took away from it that hard. But I don't know, I think conventions they're great to meet the people. I've been able to have the pleasure and honor of gaming with some of my subscribers and meeting some nerds, especially random at airports and
Yeah.
hotel
Yeah.
rooms like you guys. But that's what I like about the conventions. I'm not there to sell Dungeon Crate per se. I'm going to this convention for work, but Not really. So I always like it to where I'm
Sounds
never
like
like that.
you do what we kind of did mostly, and that's like networking and
Yeah.
meeting people and interacting with the community.
Right, right. And that to me is more. I am so much more of an organic kind of marketer too. Luckily, my wife isn't. She understands how marketing works, and and that yes, in order to have a business way, you really need to advertise and stuff. And I'm like,
Both
well,
are
let's
good.
just make every.
Both are good. Both have their
Yeah.
merits. We're just past the hour mark here.
Oh yeah.
And I want to let everyone know, as always, you can find links to Dungeoncrate and Wayne in the description. Go click away, follow Wayne. Go check out Dungeoncrate. Final words before we head out.
Oh, you know what? I just want to say, stay. I don't know. We are doing our best to make the best possible thing, but also I hope that I can get out and meet more of people that are following you guys, be guests on more shows. If you guys have some items that you find out there, my door is wide open, my email door. So you can send any
Yeah.
emails to wayne@dungeoncrate.com if you've got ideas. If you want to write adventures or encounters for us, we've got writer's guides for you. I would love to hear what you have to say on that. If you've got some ideas that we can help with a crate, please hit me up. And yeah, that's it. I think everybody just take care because it's a thing. Boy, 2020, 2021, we're all here, so I'm happy for that.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Thanks for coming on. It's been great chatting with you and everyone
Yeah.
else. Until next time, stay nerdy.
Bye.